What's today is Friday, right? And verse 1 was when?
Tuesday was first verse. Second verse was on Wednesday, and today is verse 3, Guru Maharaj.
We did the invocation first, right?
We did invocation on Monday, Guru Maharaj.
Monday.
Should we read through first to third, maybe just the translation, Guru Maharaj?
We did the invocation on Tuesday.
No, Guru Maharaj, on Monday we started second canto. Sorry.
Well, who did verses 1 and 2 then?
Yourself, Guru Maharaj. Two by Radha Vinodini Mataji on Wednesday because you were not available.
Yeah, 2, yeah, but I didn't do verse 1. I did the invocation. That's all I ever did.
Sorry, Guru Maharaj, you might have forgot. You did the one on Tuesday, Guru Maharaj, with Anasuya Mataji.
Let me see the verse.
Yeah,
Yes.
let me just share my screen. Give me a second. Let me know when you can see it. Yes. Let me
Go to verse 1. Go to verse 1. I want to see verse 1.
Yes.
Okay. That was verse 1. And that was what day? Tuesday?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, Tuesday.
Okay, and then Wednesday was verse 2.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
All right. Okay, got it. Clear now. Okay. Verse 3. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Didra Hridaya Naktam Vyavahena Chavavayam Divyakartam Hayam Rajan Kutumba Bharanena Vam. Translation. The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night either in sleeping or in sex indulgence. In the daytime, either making money or maintaining family members. The present civilization is primarily based on the principles of sleeping and sex indulgence at night, and earning money in the day and spending the same for family maintenance. Such a form of human civilization is condemned by the Bhagavad school. Because human life is a combination of matter and spirit soul, the whole process of Vedic knowledge is directed at liberating the spirit soul from the contamination of matter. Knowledge concerning this is called Atma Tattva. Those men who are too materialistic are unaware of this knowledge and are more inclined to economic development for material enjoyment. Such materialistic men are called karmis, or fruit of labors, and they are allowed regulative economic development or association of women for sex indulgence. Those who are above the karmis, that is, the jnanis, yogis, and devotees, are strictly prohibited from sex indulgence. The karmis are more or less devoid of Atma Tattva knowledge, and as such, their life is spent without spiritual profit. The human life is not meant for hard labor for economic development, nor is it meant for sex indulgence like that of dogs and hogs, especially meant for making a solution to the problems of material life and the miseries thereof. So the karmis waste their valuable human life by sleeping in sex indulgence at night, and by laboring hard in the daytime to accumulate wealth, and after doing so, they try to improve the standard of materialistic life. The materialistic way of life is described here in a nutshell, and how foolishly men waste the boon of human life is described as follows. Samidandasya Gyanajana Salakaya. Chakshurunmaitamyena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale. Kayam Bupa Kadamavyam Datadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Skya Shri Vipam Sagujatam Sahagana Bhaganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam. Tadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vushakam Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deepate Gopesha Gopika Kante Radha Kante Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaudam Girad Hey Brindavaneshwari Vishavanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Bhavane Bhyo Vaishnave Bhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gauda Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Rishabdev speaks, and this is mentioned in the 11th Gam, Nayan Deho Deho Bhajan Nirloke, Kastan Kama Arati Vid Bhajan Jai, Vid Budam Jai, Tapo Divyam Putra Katyena Sadvam, Brahmasam Kamanantam. Yeah. So the materialistic people spend all their time working hard day and night for some material gain to improve their material situations, have a nice house, car, and all of the trimmings. And their only happiness is sex life. Sometimes they get intoxicated to increase the enjoyment in material life, but they can't find any ways to enjoy themselves. Sometimes they go to the beach and they do other things, but most of the time they're just wasting their time working hard for materialistic things. Their karmis are called asses. They don't know the goal of life, just like an ass will simply work hard for a little bit of grass that he thinks that if he works hard, then the grass will come automatically by the gift of the washerman he's working hard for. But he's so stupid. He doesn't know that there's all he has to do is look down on the ground and there's grass there. So he works hard just for a little bit of grass so he can get something to eat and then engage in sex life. The sex life of an ass is very much and a nice example for the human culture to understand. You can go and you watch asses. We used to have two asses in the New Vrindavan area across the street from our community, and there was a she ass and a he ass. So the he ass, he's getting all lusty and he starts looking at the she ass, and he's coming towards her, and she knows his program. So when he gets close, she turns around and kicks him in the face. And he bounces back a little bit, but that doesn't discourage him. So he continues to go forward again. Again, she pounces him with her rear hoofs and knocks him a little silly, but he's still, enthusiastic. Finally, after a few approaches and being kicked each time, she gives in, and that's called enjoyment. So, well, it's not much different in the human form of life. The only difference is the body is different. Prabhupada would say the pleasure that the the dogs get for sex life and the pleasure that the man gets is no different. One does it in the street, one does it in a nice bed, but the pleasure is the same. So what is the difference? There's no difference. The difference is that one is thinking I'm more sophisticated because I have a nice house, a nice car, and a wife or husband to enjoy. But that's there in the animal life also. So what's the difference? And there's what is the profit for that? No profit. Profit is they're wasting time, energy, and the purpose of life is being subliminated, or what we say, forgotten about. No one knows the purpose of life. They think the purpose of life is to enjoy the senses. Nunam pranmata kurute vikarma yadindriya pritya pranoti. Asaro manye apano yama. Sanapi klesha dehasa deha. Shabde goes on to explain that they can't control their senses. And because they can't control their senses, they're always engaged in all kinds of illicit and wrong activities. And then they wonder why they suffer so much. They struggle so hard to get some small little bit of pleasure in the form of eating and sex life. And then they wonder why they have to suffer so much. Because they're just like an animal. An animal has to work very hard, or at least thinks he has to work for hard to get what he needs. And therefore, the human beings are no better than the animals. They spend all their day working for somebody they don't like, or even if they like it, they somehow or other work long hours to the day, and they come home, they're tired, turn on the television, get a can of beer, and sit there, and then eat something, fall asleep, wake up, and then come have sex life and fall asleep again. It's such a useless. It's a life of pigs, hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. It's no better. And therefore, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, this is the business of the materialistic demeanor. They simply waste their time in these petty activities that are no better than animal life. And then he'll go on to explain what is the actual benefit of human life, and that is the tato brahma jigyasa, to inquire into self-realization. But people are so attached to sense gratification, although they get hardly any pleasure from it, and they get a lot of pain from it. Sometimes they get implicated with some kind of wrong activities, and sometimes they risk their lives in order to enjoy some kind of sex life or something. I remember and people are not even satisfied with one partner anymore. They got this thing called, what is it called? It was, I saw it in one particular advertisement. It's called, um, let's see, I'll get it. Uh, when you deviate from your husband or wife, you call it, yeah, extraaffairs.com. So if you're tired with your husband and wife, and the sex life's getting boring, you need somebody new. So they got this program. It's called extra activities, extraaffairs.com. And you can meet somebody on the line, and then you can engage in that kind of activity with this other person. And you think, just like there's that one story where one 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 man, he was poor. He was somewhat of a leper also, and he got attached to this one prostitute, but she was very expensive, and but he didn't have the money, so he was feeling a little morose. He had a nice wife, and then his wife found out that he was attracted to this one prostitute. So feeling sorry for her husband. She went to the prostitute and served the prostitute very nicely. And just to get the prostitute to, allow her husband to come. And so um, the prostitute is thinking, wow, he has such a nice, chaste, and faithful wife. Why is he coming here? So, of course, she made all the arrangements, and the man was very happy, and he made some appointment to see the prostitute. But the prostitute was very smart. She was thinking, I got to teach this rascal a lesson. So when he came, she prepared a dinner for him, and she put each of the preparations in 3 different plates, one in a gold plate, one in a silver plate, and one in a leaf plate, 3 kinds of plates. And she served him that way. And he's thinking, why is she serving the same preparation in 3 different plates? And then he became curious and he had to ask. And then he asked, and she said to him, you have a nice wife. Why are you coming here? It's all the same. There's no difference, whether it's in the gold plate, paper plate, other plate, it's all the same. So that was a wake-up call. So yeah, but people chase after this, and and they just waste their time, energy, resources, and ultimately their life chasing after this fleeting desire of sex enjoyment, which is more like the whole idea of sex life is the idea of sex life. The pleasure of sex life is the idea of the pleasure of sex life. And the actual act itself only lasts for a few seconds or more. And everyone prepares. They spend a lot of money. They get all dressed up. They go to nightclubs. They buy fancy cars. They do all kinds of, spend all kinds of money to make it look fancy, get hotels, big beds, and everything like that. But it's all the same. There's a few fleeting moments, and everybody's chasing after this. And therefore they're no different than the dogs and hogs who have sex in the public arena. And that is the karmis. They just waste time. One time Prabhupada was preaching with this. There was this one group, rock and roll group, that came to see Prabhupada in 26 Second Avenue when they were there. And Prabhupada was meeting all kinds of different kind of people. They were a kind of a funky band. They were called the Fugs, Fuggs, the Fugs. So Prabhupada was talking and preaching to them, and Prabhupada was talking about giving up sex life. and they responded, no sex life? You kidding? It's better to die. The Prabhupada was shocked. They think they'd rather die than give up sex life. And sometimes people would ask Prabhupada, is there sex life after death? Prabhupada would say, yes, there is, because you'll get another body, but maybe a better body for sex life, just like the pigeons. Pigeons can have sex life 60 times in 1 hour. A human being can't even come close to that. 60 times in an hour is a pigeon. Pigeon is really inclined to sex life. Monkeys are always chasing other female monkeys for sex life. So the animals engage in that very freely, and that's pretty much their nature. And God shows us through the animal life that this is what animals do. So sex life is simply meant for procreation of children. That is the benefit of sex life. So, but nobody will have children unless there is some pleasure attached to the activity. So Prabhupada said the demigods, under the instructions of Krishna, have put this coating of pleasure in that area of the body, so there can be some enjoyment there. Otherwise, people will not have children. So in order to inspire people to have children, there's some pleasure that comes in the process of procreation. But that pleasure is simply meant to inspire people to, not to inspire, but to actually dissuade people that the whole goal of sex life is simply the procreation, because there are souls waiting to take births from different arenas within the universe, and they have to have some means by which they can come in. So procreation is there to give them a chance to act out their next birth in karma like that. But those who are in devotional life, it says they should only have sex life once a month, and only on a particular time of the month. I forgot, Prabhupada describes it in in great detail. And if it fails, then you wait another month, and then you have it again. And then if it fails again, you have another month, and you wait it again. And once there's a pregnancy, then there's no sex life for 16 months. That means until the child is born, and 6 months after after the birth of the child. So when the wife comes pregnant, then there's no more sex life for 16 months. Prabhupada talks about this. One devotee, when he first joined the movement, when he heard all of the restrictions that were connected with sex life in Krishna consciousness, he said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, why have it at all if it's such a difficult thing? And Prabhupada said, very good boy, now you've understood. Now you've understood. It's not necessary. But for grihastas, there is some license in order to bring about children. But sex life is not for recreation, it's for procreation. And you can see the whole world is upside down because of that. Everything centers around displaying the female form in different ways throughout society in order to attract people to buy items, to go here, to do this, to do that, to do something. So Sigmund Freud, when one devotee joined the movement, he talked about this one philosopher, German philosopher, Sigmund Freud, whose whole idea that the whole material world is based on this principle of sex life. And Prabhupada said he's correct. He has the right understanding. That's the whole. So if you want to get out of the material world, you have to stop the sex life. Otherwise, you have to keep going life after life. As soon as you break the attachment for sex life and the desire to enjoy sex life, then all of a sudden, then you can, you're a candidate for liberation automatically, because it's the adi ras. What is that sex life? What is that energy called sex life? It's one's love for Krishna diverted away towards something material. It's called the adi ras. We have a love for Krishna that's very, very powerful. And it takes the form, it takes the material form of sex life towards the opposite sex in this material world. But when we stop it and divert that same energy, control it, and devote that energy into hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord and working for the pleasure of the Lord, and that same energy elevates one's consciousness to the spiritual platform like that. There's a principle called udareta. Udareta means a brahmachari who never, even once in his life, has lost one drop of the sex energy. And Prabhupada said, my spiritual master was such a person, Bhakti Siddhanta. And what a powerful acharya he was. I mean, his mind was so clear and so strong like that. And people who have sex life a lot, they become stupid. They actually can't think properly. They think, but they come up with all wrong ideas like that. It destroys one's physical energy. It makes one stupid because then when that energy is diverted towards higher consciousness, it fertilizes the brain and the brain becomes clear. And then when the brain becomes clear, you can understand deeper and philosophical teachings coming from Guru and from Shastra. Yeah. So this is the Adiras. So, but the materialists, they simply live for it. I have a beautiful poem. I don't have it with me. It's in another location right now by one devotee who wrote a beautiful poem describing the futility of sex life. It's quite nice. It's interesting. Maybe I'll read it at another time when I have access to it. But devotees should understand that those in married life, it's simply meant for procreation. Sometimes people in married life think it's too difficult. It's like being in the candy shop and you can't eat the candy, something like that. They have that. Uh, yeah, you're there, you have the access, but at the same time you're restricted. But you can only keep that restrictions by higher consciousness. Higher consciousness has to be there. Otherwise, if one falls down to materialistic consciousness, and the desire for sex life becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. But one has to stay within the element of spiritual consciousness, hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. Otherwise, the spiritual life becomes very, very difficult. And there's many, many examples. We see even in our society, there are many devotees who have practiced Krishna consciousness for so many years, even sannyasis, great leaders, and at one point they succumb to some kind of attraction to the opposite sex, fall down from their position in spiritual life, and again take up materialistic life like that. So this attraction between men and women is so strong that where does it come from? It comes from Krishna. Krishna is attracted to the opposite sex, but not in the way that the materialistic people are. There are two forms, the female and male form. It's there in the spiritual world. The gopis are attracted to Krishna, the Krishna is attracted to the love of the gopis, but it's not based on personal sense enjoyment, it's based on transcendental love, which is pure and full of spiritual essence. What does that mean? That everyone is thinking of the pleasure of the other person. Krishna wants to satisfy the gopis because the gopis want to satisfy Krishna. Because the gopis love Krishna, Krishna returns their love just to give them happiness. And they want to make Krishna happy by loving Krishna in so many different ways. But it's not like boy and girl in this material world. There are two things. One is called gold and one is called iron. Both are metals. Gold is rare and valuable. Iron is base and very much available. So the sex life in this world, sometimes people in this world who claim to be spiritualists, they want to imitate Krishna's activities with the gopis in Vrindavan. And so they take up the activities with young girls in villages. This happens in places in India. In the West, they don't even worry about any kind of arrangement, and they just go. It's just like one thing after another. So, but one can only be free from this desire when one strengthens their Krishna consciousness. In other words, one has to be attracted to Krishna. It says if one meditates on the beautiful eyebrows of Krishna, which are like bows, arches. And those eyebrows are so powerful that one can be free from the desire to indulge in ordinary loving affairs in this material world. So the only way one can be free from the tendency towards the attraction from the opposite sex in an illicit way is through bhakti. Sometimes people don't want to get engaged in sex life and they try to do it in a very artificial way. But that artificial way doesn't work because the desire is still there. One has to purify the desire for love and attraction and direct it towards Krishna. And in that way, it becomes purified and spiritualized, and that elevates the consciousness to serving Krishna in loving relationships. So the gopis are considered to be the highest form of Krishna's devotees anywhere in existence. But they love Krishna because Krishna is such a beautiful, young, lovely cowherd boy that they cannot stop thinking of him. He is so attractive, and all of his qualities are just as attractive as he is. And so this is spiritual sex life, but it's not like material sex life. Try to understand the distinction. There is a distinction, and it's a very clear and very wide distinction. The sex life in the spiritual world is not like in the material world. It's not meant for enjoyment, nor is it meant for procreation. It is simply meant for, because there's no such thing as procreation in the spiritual world. Everything is in its pure spiritual essence. And all living entities are eternally existing. Like that. Okay, so chant Hare Krishna and take Krishna Prasadam, dance in ecstasy, and it's much better than any kind of sex life. Hare Krishna.
Right. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Very nice class, very informative class. So many things you mentioned which I didn't know about. So thank you so much, Deep. Yes, go on. You were saying something.
Classes so often because of the mixed audience, but sometimes we get a little liberal.
Yes. And devotees, if you have any questions, comments, realizations, please unmute yourself and ask. And you can also type in the chat box and I'll read it for you. And it'll be nice to have your darshan. So if you can keep your cameras on, please, only if it's possible. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So while we're waiting for the questions, Guru Maharaj, I had one question when you mentioned that we should increase our attachment to Krishna to be able to detach from the material affairs. And it's quite, from your classes, we have heard that we need to, and as you mentioned about the chanting and reading, but still, many years of practice is not as strong. The attachment to the material affairs is still, we feel that is stronger than attachment to Krishna. So
Yeah.
how do we bring that attachment to Krishna is at the upper level and bring this detachment down?
Well, Krishna is all attractive. His name is Krishna because he's completely attractive. Hear about his qualities, hear about his pastimes, chant his holy name, engage in devotional service. This purifies the heart and destroys material desires simultaneously. So that as we intensify that process of attraction to Krishna, then we de-intensify, or we diminish all of these other attractions in this world, attachments. And at one point, we can become free from all material desires. And then, although you're in the arena of material existence, and there's so many objects of sense gratification, you're not attached. It's like you're there, but you're not there. You don't even notice it, and even if you do notice it, you don't notice it in a way for enjoyment. That enjoyment spirit has been crushed by the attraction to Krishna. Where's the real enjoyment? So it's all about increasing your attraction to Krishna.
Mm.
There's no other antidote for material enjoyment.
Thank you. Thanks, Maharaj. Devotees, if you have any questions, I can see a very little girl named Pavni has joined, and I've heard about her in the groups as well. And I've noticed that I came to know that she is also aspiring for Maharaj. So thank you, Maharaj. It's so beautiful to see her on the call as well. I've noticed her today first time. So that's nice.
Who's that?
Do you want to unmute and introduce yourself, Pavni?
Well, Pavni?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. She's my little,
Yes.
yeah, she's my little friend. She's,
Nice. Any other questions, devotees? I know the topic is a bit tough to answer, ask any questions, but you can ask any general questions about the material life and about attachment to any other things you might have in the life. Yes, Olgamati, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, dear devotees, please accept my obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, if I remember correct, during one class, there was a question like, what would be the best fulfillment, let's say, for a woman, in terms of her role in life, and the response was to become a mother. But at the same time, I understand that it's better to be focused on seva and not even to get into family relations. So is it mostly related to men, or it is equal to both?
There is a you can approach the answer from different angles of vision. Generally, women do better in their execution of Krishna consciousness when they are under the shelter of a husband. It says that women generally they need shelter in all aspects of their life. The first one is their parents, second is their husband, and third is when their children are grown up. So they take shelter of these, and they get protection. The protection against what? Their own desires to enjoy in the wrong way. Women are easily exploitable, and men know how to exploit women. And men make it a science to study how to take advantage of women, and they do it all the time. This is the whole material world. But when women have a shelter of someone who is their well-wisher, husband, parents, or even in Krishna consciousness, good Krishna conscious association, and they're protected from being exploited. But women do better when they get married, have children, engage the children and grow, teach them how to live life in a devotional way, like that. The tendency for women is to bear children, but there are a few women who are an exception, maybe due to last life. I mean, Prabhupada said it in a very humorous way. He said it one time. He made a public statement. He said, all the women should be married and all the men should remain brahmachari. So what was he saying? And then he looked at the organizers and he said, it's up to you guys to figure out how to do that. So the women used to think, well, we should go out on book distribution and meet our husband out there and make him a devotee and then get married. So that was some idea somebody came up with. I don't know if that was actually something that was worthwhile pursuing. But generally, women do better in their spiritual life when they're under the care of the shelter of a qualified husband, parent, or elder children. And men do better in spiritual life when they're not married, generally. So there's a difference there. I mean, if you want to go into there's a book called, what was it, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Anybody read that book? I didn't read it. I heard about it. So you have to understand the natures are different. They're opposite. And that's why two opposites come together to make a complete whole. Says that what does it say? Behind every successful man is a woman. That's a very, yeah. You see, sometimes from the materialistic point of view, men, if they don't get married, they usually are useless. They bounce around from this way to that way. This is from the materialistic society. Of course, men in Krishna consciousness, we have the brahmachari ashram, we have the sannyasa ashram. They can flourish in their spiritual life if they follow very carefully the rules and regulations and take association in the proper way. And they can make fast progress in devotional service. So there is a difference. Women have a tendency to serve men. It says in the scriptures, a woman is made to serve a man. If she finds a good man to serve, she's happy. If she doesn't have a good man to serve, she's looking to find that. But that good man is Krishna. He's the perfect husband. He is what is called what's it? Mahapati.
Maha husband.
Yeah, he's the best husband. So sometimes women, they come to me and they say, I can't find a good husband. They're all useless. What am I going to do? I said, well, just marry Krishna. That's all. I said, just send him, write love letters to Krishna every day, not just once, but every day. Tell him how much you love him and how much you want to be with him. And Krishna will reciprocate. It's not like he'll reciprocate like, just like one lady, she said to Prabhupada, oh, Prabhupada, last night Krishna came in my dream and he was pulling on my sari. Prabhupada said, this is nonsense. That's not Krishna's business. So he's not interested in material sex life or material relationships. Relationship with Krishna is pure and it's on the spiritual platform. And it's fulfilling.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thanks, Guru Mataji. Thank you for your question. Pavni and Bhagishri Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances unto your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and you. Maharaj, sometimes devotees ask us to pray for them for their spiritual advancement, to chant offenselessly, to serve nicely. That is okay if we pray for them. But sometimes, our relatives, friends ask us to pray for them to get a better job if they are struggling in a job or to get married. So they ask us to pray to the lordships. So is it okay, Maharaj, that if we can pray for them
Well,
in that sense?
there's no guarantee, even if they get what they want, they will be happy. Material success doesn't mean happiness. You might be praying for them to get that, and then that causes them the more misery. There was one Christian. He was living in a monastery, and he was the pot washer in the monastery. But everyone understood that he was the most spiritually advanced. So they would come to him when he was for different material things. He says, I can't pray for you for that because God has put you in this particular situation, and therefore I don't want to interfere with God's arrangement for you. There's a reason why you're in that situation. So we generally don't give benedictions or prayers for anything material, because material can also mean more suffering for that person. Person may want to get married and you pray for them, and then they get a husband or a wife and it's a mess and they wind up getting a divorce. Or, it doesn't give them what they see. Material life can't guarantee you happiness. It doesn't guarantee you happiness. So if you're praying for someone, you may also help them become, even suffer more. If you want to pray for them that they become attracted to spiritual activities, devotional life. Or you can tell them, you can use a roundabout way. You tell them to worship God and then pray to God for your material things. It's better if they pray to God for something material rather than not pray to God at all. Of course, we don't pray to God for some material because we know that material gain is not the goal of life, nor the process of happiness. But people who don't worship God at all, you can encourage them to worship God for something material, and that way they're connected with God, at least in one form of worship.
And also,
So when they ask you to pray for them, you say, just pray to God.
right, Maharaj. And
It's a compromise, but it's better than nothing anyway.
yes,
It says it keeps them connected with the Lord, even though it's done in a material way. And Krishna will do what he's supposed to do. He knows what to do. He may give them something other than what they're looking for, and they might find more happiness in that. But don't you pray for them for something material, because
thank you so much, Maharaj.
you
It
might
really helped.
be doing them a disservice. That's all.
Correct. Sometimes, Maharaj, they are in a very bad health condition, so they ask us to pray for their well-being. So that is fine, Maharaj.
Prabhupada taught us how to pray. When Prabhupada was sick, the devotees started praying to Krishna to cure Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, I'll teach you how to pray. And he gave us the prayer. He said, you pray to the Lord, my dear Lord Krishna, please, if you so desire, please cure my spiritual master. So you can say, yes, you can pray to the Lord, if you so desire, please cure my, friend or my relative, like that. You don't tell Krishna what to do. You you ask him what you want, but you leave it up to him to make the choice. We don't approach Krishna and ask him for anything material. We can pray to Krishna, my dear Lord, my mother's feeling sick. Please, if you so desire, cure them. This was the same thing of that monk living in the monastery. He said, you may be sick because God has given you that situation to help you become more God conscious. So I don't want to interfere with that.
Very true.
So you can pray like that. If you so desire, my dear Lord. This is what I want, but only if you want it. That's the perfect prayer. I want it. You can say to the Lord, this is what I desire, but only if you want it. Not that I want it and then you must fulfill my request, you know.
Hope that answers your question, Bhagavad.
Thank you so much. It was really helpful. Thank you so much for your inputs, Maharaj.
Thanks, Bhagishri Mataji. Maharaj, we have a question from Boni Mataji. She's asking Hare Krishna Maharaj, how can women find a husband who respects them if the men are taught it is better to be brahmacharis? Won't
Well,
teaching this? Yeah, sorry, go on.
her name is not Bonnie, it's Bonnie.
Bani, sorry. I'm
Call her
sorry.
Bonnie. She's got more flesh on her body than you'll ever have. She's not bony. I know Bonnie. She's a big girl.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, she's asking, have you heard my first line? Should I read it again? How can a woman find a husband who respects them if the men are taught to it is better to be brahmacharis? Won't teaching this cause the man to resent the woman who's serving him?
No, men will get married anyway. There's always somebody to get married. You're not gonna stop the proliferation of children in the world just because you're telling men to stay brahmachari. They'll get married anyway.
Thank you. I hope that answers your question. But
You want to see a nice video?
yes, Maharaj, I'll give you the access to share it.
How do I get it? Let me see. I hit escape, right? No.
Yes, you can share it now.
I go to share.
Yes.
Then I have to find it somewhere on my computer.
Ah, okay.
And so let me see. So let me see. How do I get to my computer? I have to, what do I do?
Do you have,
Exit full screen. Guru Maharaj, exit
yeah,
full screen view. View in the view, exit the full screen.
Yeah, okay. All right, I did that.
Can
And
you see now Google button on your?
okay, let me see. I'm searching right now. Give me a few minutes here. Let me see if I can find this video. It's pretty good.
I believe it has to be with the green. It says share the screen.
Okay, I'm just looking for it now.
Below.
It's a particular video. Let me see, where is it here? Let me go to videos here. Do. Let me see if I can find videos. Can't seem to find videos here. Okay, we're getting closer here. Okay, videos. Let's see. I think it's going to be a little too hard to find. I might have to give up. It's somewhere in my computer. So many things are there also. So yeah. Let's see.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of stress on.
Yeah, okay, I found it. Now what do I do?
Maybe click on the this share icon. It says green. It's a green icon on your Zoom window, Guru Maharaj.
You have to go
The
back.
share.
How do
Yeah,
I
go back on Zoom.
zoom?
And there is a. It says in the last bottom window line is Zoom. Zoom. Yeah. If you click on that, you'll be back on Zoom.
Okay, Zoom meeting. Okay. So hit share.
Share. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Now
now
you're sharing your screen, Guru Maharaj. Yes. Now you can click on the window, a video,
but
whichever you want to
I
play.
have to make sure that the volume is there also. There has to
Oh,
be.
so
So if I click on this,
let's see if it plays with a sound or not. Let's see. Otherwise, you might have to stop it and then play back. Share it again.
it's on share now, right?
Yes, yes. You can double click on this.
Okay, here it goes. Can tell me now.
There's a lot of stress on
Can
being
you
a
see it?
brahmachari.
Yes, we can hear the
And
words
I was
now.
looking at the larger picture. And I was thinking, if all intelligent men take up to brahmacharya, who are the girls going to get married? Will it not create an imbalance in the demographics of the society? Prabhupada said, I have a problem that I haven't been able to solve. I want all my boys to be brahmacharis and I want all my girls to get married. And from my own experience, I can tell you, don't worry about that. There will be plenty of brahmacharis who will want to get married. I was thinking, what about the progeny? So, for example, if all intelligent men are brahmachari and they decide. I told you, all intelligent men won't remain brahmachari. If I take your example, an intelligent person like you, if they don't have children, the DNA, your intelligent DNA is not getting forward. So the next generation. Don't worry. I have plenty of children. And I can tell you, that's the real intelligent thing to do. Have a lot of children without getting married.
Okay. Did you catch it?
Yes, yes, Guru Maharaj. It was wonderful.
Let me see. How do I get out of here? Okay.
On the top, it should say stop sharing.
You stop share. Okay.
Yes, you're back. Yes.
Get from the authority right there.
So then it's for all the Prabhus to become sannyasis, then Guru Maharaj, isn't it? And have lots of children without being married.
But he said, "Don't worry. There's no shortage of men. There'll always be somebody to get married."
It was a very intelligent question, actually, that how the DNA will be passed over, because for devotees, in our community, one of the families have a third child. They have now have third child now. So I was saying this is brilliant, actually. If we need to make devotees, the devotion will pass on, and the children will come in such families, and they will take the movement forward.
We have the spiritual family, which is unlimited.
Yes.
Prabhupada said the same thing. He said, I gave up my family. I had 5 children. I had a wife. my spiritual master takes sannyas, I was thinking, oh, what am I going to do? But now he said I have 300 children without the botheration of wife. So that's from Prabhupada anyway. Take it for what it's worth. But
Actually, Bhaktin Bonnie has come up with a follow-up question clarifying that wasn't what she asked. So, Satyabhama, you may want to read out that.
Yes, yes. So Mataji is saying, Hare Krishna Prabhus, my question was not whether the man will marry, it was whether the man will respect the woman and not resent them.
not what?
Resent, like,
Rescind?
Resent
yeah,
them.
resent them,
Be
resent them,
resentful
resent
of
them.
them.
Yes,
Oh, if men don't get married, they'll be resentful of women?
yes, yeah.
Oh, that's stupid. That is the opposite side of attachment. There's two sides, attachment and aversion. Aversion is another side of attachment. One has to be free from both attachment and aversion. That's the platform of neutrality. Accept things as they are and not be attracted to or averse. There are many things in this world that you are not attracted to and you're not averse to. But even in the opposite sex, one has to have that same mood. Attraction brings entanglement, aversion brings another form of misery. Because aversion is incomplete, and therefore it'll lead to attraction later on anyway. So the goal, at least for devotees, is to become attracted to Krishna. Then if one is attracted to Krishna, one will treat everyone in the proper way. Man, woman, animals, the earth, everything. They will treat everyone with respect and kindness, and not in a mood of attraction or aversion. That when a person is fixed in devotional service, they see everything in relationship to Krishna. Therefore, they don't try to exploit anything, nor do they try to reject anything that can be used in Krishna service.
Thanks, Guru Maharaj. I hope that answers your question, Mataji. Sakshi Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Maharaj, I have a question slightly different from the ongoing topic. My question is how to get rid of this duplicitous nature and how to have straightforward and simple dealings with others and free from ulterior motives.
No, that's the process of Krishna consciousness. All of these things you're talking about are material tendencies. As you become Krishna conscious, you don't try to exploit, nor do you try to gain something material from some kind of relationship. That's on the subtle platform. The gross platform is we're trying to enjoy on the physical body. On the subtle platform, we're trying to gain something, some prestige, some control over something. So all of this is part of the material attractions and attachments. The only way you can be free from this is to become Krishna conscious. A Krishna conscious person doesn't think like that or exploit people in that mood. They're not duplicitous. They're not what we say diplomatic. So the mood, if you want to come right down to the essence, the mood is whoever you're with, try to be in the mood of serving that person, even in the material sense too. You're not trying to gain something or get some personal benefit, but you're trying to serve. Of course, if you have a relationship with a person who is a merchant, and you want to buy something from that person, you pay your money, and then the merchant gives you the merchandise, and that's an exchange. And so, but in ordinary dealings, then we give respects to everyone. And you can't give respects if you're trying to gain something from that person's association. So the mood should be to serve. How can I serve? And that may take different forms. Just like being kind to someone is a form of serving that person. Being respectful for the person's ideas and being respectful for the person's presence is another form of serving. So the mood is respect. Everyone is worthy of respect because everyone is a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. But some people have bad qualities or qualities that cause you to be somewhat adverse to that. And then so you just try to avoid that association if you can. If you can't, still be very respectful and don't get into any wrong types of dealings.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Practice. Takes practice.
Thanks, Maharaj. Thanks, Sakshi Mataji. Connor Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, I have a question about what you spoke about when it came to us working all day long in the material world in the story of the ass. I work as a firefighter, and since coming into Krishna consciousness, I've had trouble recognizing in my work when maybe am I just working like the ass and should my energy be put somewhere else, or am I carrying out some type of duty or dharma in my life by doing my job and working so hard? I have a hard time trying to figure out kind of what I'm supposed to do on those lines, or kind of where my head should be at.
Well, if you're following just the norm, then you'll just get a job and work. But then you can't, what is the purpose of doing that? We're not meant to work. We're meant to become Krishna conscious. But sometimes we need some financial remunerations in order to live in this world. So if that's the purpose, then fine. But if the work becomes your focus and your obsession, then you're wasting your time and energy. So therefore, living a life in such a way as to live according to your needs. And society will always push you to work more and to gain more and to spend more. That's the way the society is geared. Come to Krishna consciousness, then we're serving the Lord and we're working for Krishna. And that elevates our consciousness and gives us satisfaction. But if there's some need on the material level for some financial gain, then do that in the minimal way, not in the maximum way. The scriptures say one should live according to their needs and not beyond. So you have to see. Now, if you're planning to get married and you might be saving money by working, then that will be considered to be a plan to enter into married life in order to practice Krishna consciousness in that particular ashram. So you have to see, what is my motivation for my work? Is it actually necessary, or is I'm just working because everybody else is working? Now you have to ask yourself that question.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. Well, the human form of life is not to meant to work hard simply for material things. Human form of life is to inquire into the process of self-realization. That's the purpose of human life. So work for Krishna. You're in Philadelphia, right?
Yes, right outside of Philadelphia in South Jersey. I work in Trenton, New Jersey, though.
Okay. But you're not married, are you?
I am married.
Well, then there's some need to support the family. You have children?
We have one on the way, yes.
Well, okay, then all right. Get an honest job. And then take what you need in order to support the family. But practice Krishna consciousness. That's the main thing.
Thank you, Maharaj.
The work is needed because obviously you have some responsibility.
Thank you.
But you can also think later on that why am I working? Why don't I just move myself and my family into a community and live there, and we can all serve there in the community. You can also think like that. Then I won't have to work and I can serve Krishna, all day. And my wife can do the same thing. My children can grow up in an atmosphere of other children.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Karan Prabhu. Sorry, I've got a question on YouTube. Sorry, Manas Prabhu, just give me a second. I'll just ask this question. So question is, nowadays in ISKCON, I see that couples are not inclined to have kids or only have one child, but in other communities, they have many children in one family. In future, definitely their population will be more than ours, and ours will be less. Is that a concern?
No. If you have one good child, then that one child can save all of the other hundreds of children. The idea is to raise the children and to become devotees, and then they can help others. It's not about numbers, it's about quality.
Very good answer. Thank you. Manas Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna to all the assembled devotees. So Maharaj, my question is in continuation to Kannur Prabhu. So I am also feeling as if I am going through some sort of a confusion with respect to the work, my materialistic work that I do, the job that I do. So what I feel is that currently, somewhere or the other, the work pressure has reduced, and I'm not explicitly trying to take up more tasks, which I normally used to do earlier. But now I feel as if probably Krishna has given me some more time to be able to spend on the spiritual activities, which I am doing very willingly, and I'm very happy with that. But at the same time, I'm also thinking as if I'm not doing justice to my job, because I'm not trying to take up the task that I could have done. So if you can put some light on that, Maharaj.
You're worried about material success, huh?
No, I mean, Maharaj, right now I'm actually not really looking for that direction. But again, because of the materialistic needs, the family needs and everything, that confuses. That should I not think on that direction anymore? That is what
You want my answer? I'll give you my answer. I tell all the devotees, get out of the cities, get out of the jobs, and get into the farms and live simply, grow food, keep cows, and live free from the influence of society. And become, Prabhupada's mission was to establish self-sufficiency based on farm communities, simple living like that. So that's my particular focus now, to encourage devotees to move away from the materialistic society and move into a more devotional association where devotees work together to earn their livelihood and to, at the same time, practice Krishna consciousness together. That's Prabhupada's vision for the society. It's happening in certain places around the world. Other places, it's not happening at all. Prabhupada said this materialistic society will be finished in 50 years. He said that in 1973. It's already collapsing right now. He said the whole society will ultimately collapse and there'll be chaos. So he said, we have to prepare ourselves to become free from the dependence on this Western materialistic society. Prabhupada wanted to reestablish the whole Vedic scheme worldwide. That was his vision, because he saw that Western society, I mean, what is Western materialistic society? How long has it been in practice? 300 years, around the time of the Industrial Revolution in the 1700s. Before then, people lived simply. They didn't live in all of these, they call these big, gigantic apartment houses with 90 floors stuck in a little box. It's called a house or an apartment. Hell. But the point is, if the food supply goes out, what are you going to do? If the gas goes out, what are you going to do? If the electricity goes out, what are you going to do? These things are already happening. Just like you had MS glitch just about a week ago, right? The whole thing shut down. And schools, airports, hospitals, nothing could function for, I don't know, a whole day or so. We're dependent on these computers to keep us going. The whole thing shut down. And this MS glitch was just a trial error just to see how it would work, because they're planning to shut down the whole society anyway. This is their program, and to restructure it. So as long as we're dependent on this crazy materialistic society, we're always going to be in want. So you can't find an ideal situation. If you want to continue in the same way you're going, fine, but gradually become more and more Krishna conscious. Then when the things do become impossible to live in this materialistic society, at least you'll be strong enough in your spiritual life to make the transition out of it. But Prabhupada didn't want us to wait till that situation comes. He said, do it now, build these communities, live like Krishna lived. I published one book called Krishna's Way, Natural Living, Back to the Land, grow your own food, keep cows. I could speak about cows, the benefit of cows all day. But we're attached to this Western materialistic society. If we can press a button, we can get something. We can order something on Amazon, get it the next day or the same day. It's like, we live a very artificial life. There's pollution, there's wars, there's chemicals in all of our food. The water's polluted, the air's polluted, the noise, everything. It's just, and it's getting worse like that. Getting worse and worse and worse because it's artificial. So if you want my answer, that's my answer. Pull back. Don't push forward and try to make it better. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a cancer victim. Person's got cancer and you give him a little Band-Aid and say, here's some help for your cancer. It doesn't work. You can't fix this materialistic society. It doesn't work. People work so hard, struggle so hard just to get money. The government fails, money is no good anymore. All your money is useless. Even the banks now have rules. This is in the US. The banks have rules now. If they have a bank crisis, they can use your savings to bail them out of the crisis. That's Biden's new law, if you want to find it out. They can take your money and use it to get out of their financial crunch. And then they'll give you an IOU, which they'll never pay anyway. So how long do we have to wait before we actually wake up to this lifestyle is very artificial. Prabhupada says it's a soul-killing civilization, destroys all the good qualities of the human being. Just because we have nice cars and nice computers, big houses, doesn't mean we're successful. Success is character. Success is our relationship with the Supreme Lord. Success is becoming free from the anxiety that is imposed upon us by this artificial lifestyle. So that's my answer. You might find it a little bit extreme, but this is what Srila Prabhupada is teaching us. He said, stop your dependence on this society, create our own self-sufficient society. He wanted that. He said, make the microcosm within the macrocosm, and then the microcosm will eventually become the macrocosm. Even the non-devotees now are moving away from society. They're getting their own land. They're pulling away from becoming dependent on this society. Taxes are going up, inflation's going up, unemployment's going up. Crime is really on the rise. I'm in London right now, and I stay in a house by myself. I'm wondering if this house is going to get broken into one night. London is one of the biggest places for break-ins. It happens every day. I was just with my friend the other night, and he was walking. He just came out of the temple, and he sees 4 guys with masks running down the street, running from the police. This happened the other night. London is just full of burglaries. And practically, I know at least 6 devotees who have had their houses broken into in London. Right, Silpesh? Silpesh knows.
I think it's not too bad where I am, Maharaj.
Well, yeah, it depends where you live. But if you display yourself as an Indian family on the outside, then your house is very much a target for break-in.
That used to happen on at Diwali time, because a lot of people would have gold in the house, so they used to get broken into a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, the crime is high. Even the police can't do much anymore. They've backed off. I'm just giving you a small example of how society is breaking down on all levels. But whether that happens or not, that's not the point. The point is that natural living, simple living, according to how we're supposed to live, is more conducive to Krishna consciousness. Why work for the materialistic world when we can work for Krishna? Krishna will take care of you. Krishna is the supreme controller. He controls all the money, all the wealth in the world. He's Bhagavan. If Krishna wants to give you, Prabhupada used to say, if Krishna wants to give you something, you with 10 hands, how much can you hold with 2? Krishna can give you more than you can even, and if Krishna wants to take away with 10 hands, how can you hold on with 2? So if the more we serve Krishna, the more we connect with Krishna. And there's a lifestyle that is conducive to Krishna consciousness, and that is free from the dependency on the materialistic society. We send our children to school and they come back with all kinds of bad habits. I mean, really. I mean, I know one kid, he was telling me, yeah, I go to school and the kids come into the bathroom and they have tools and they take the sinks and the toilets. They unscrew them from the bathroom, take them home. And I was just talking about that at one program, and one other person said, yeah, even in my school, they do that also. They go and they steal stuff from the bathrooms and yeah. You might, it sounds crazy, but it's happening.
Very true, Maharaj. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Maharaj. This definitely helps, and I think I got my answer. Thank you.
Kind of gave you a little extra, but that's all right.
Thank you, Manas Prabhu. So, Guru Maharaj, there is a question on the chat, and Shridevi Mataji has also raised her hands. So we are 40 minutes away. Do you want me to continue or?
I just have to let someone into my house. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Sri Devi Mataji, for your invitation. I would love to come over, and we will definitely try.
Please come. Sooner the better.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Shridevi Mataji, let me take this question. It's been sitting in the chat for some time. This is from Rasa Vilasni Radha Devidas Mataji. Mataji is saying, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you and all Vaishnavas. Maharaj, for women, which spiritual character should we follow according to Shastras? And can we offer prayers to Krishna like them on daily basis?
Can you speak a little bit slower?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Maharaj, for women, which spiritual character should we follow according to Shastras? And can we offer prayers to Krishna like them on daily basis?
Spiritual character according to Shastra, what does that mean?
Yeah, like for example, we can follow the teachings of Mother Queen Kunti, or gopis or Yashoda. So Mother Yashoda. So for women, who should we follow according to Shastras? And can we offer our prayers to Krishna like they have offered their prayers?
Yeah, you can choose who you want to follow, but then follow means to worship them, glorify them, serve them. Don't try to imitate them. You can't imitate them. There's two things. There's imitation and there's following. Imitation is cheap and really has no value. If you want to become like them or develop the characters, then characteristics that they have, you can also pray to them. You can serve them. You can read about them. You can learn about them. See what their characteristics are, and you can practice those things. You can't be exactly like them. That comes with the development of the qualities. That's called, yeah, that's an authorized form of worship.
Thank you. Thanks, Maharaj. I hope that answers your question, Mataji.
The second part.
Yeah, sorry. Go on, Maharaj. Please go ahead.
What was the second part?
That can we offer our prayers to Krishna like they have done? Like Kunti Maharani has said that let the calamities come. So can we pray like them? How?
Yeah, but then be ready when the calamities come.
No, I'm just giving an example.
if you pray like that, those calamities will come. Krishna will say, all right, here you go. And then are you ready? But if you pray like that, be ready to accept whatever happens as an opportunity to take more shelter of Krishna. Queen Kunti is praying like that. Let the calamities come so we can see you again and again. Because by seeing you, we don't have to see repeated birth and death anymore. She's praying so we can become free from the attachments of the material world. And so we can become more attached to Krishna. That's what she's praying for.
So basically we can pray, but we should be in that mood and we should be ready to accept whatever Krishna blesses us with then.
Yeah, but calamities for the sake of calamities is not, doesn't have any value. It's meant to push us closer to Krishna. If it doesn't bring us closer to Krishna, then it's Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. It's a useless waste of time. Why would you want calamities for the sake of calamities? Calamities are meant to help us call out more feelingly for Krishna, to become more attached to Krishna. It's not about calamities, it's about attachment to Krishna.
Thank you. Thanks, Maharaj. I hope that answers your question, Rasavlasni Mataji.
What she's saying is, if everything is going nice in this world, we have a tendency to forget you. That's what she's saying. So therefore, I don't want to forget you. So therefore, give me some calamity so I can remember you with feeling. That's her prayer.
So, sorry, Rasavlasni Mataji. I think I turned your questions into...
No, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. I had a question, Mataji. Like, we can follow the footsteps of Kunti Devi, Draupadi, like that, Mataji.
Just 1 second, Maharaj is coming. Maybe I think I'll let Maharaj hear it too. Yes. Yeah. Yes, go on, Mataji. You were saying something.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj. Maharaj, my question was that we can follow the footsteps of Kunti Devi, Draupadi, and that's the question.
By praying. You can't imitate them, you pray to them, that's all. You pray to them, you serve them in your mind and your heart. You hear about their activities. You glorify their activities. That's what it means. Not that you can, try to be like them. That comes with practice, but not simply by following them. Following them means to worship them, to hear about them, to glorify them. That's recommended.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Mataji. Ashidevi Mataji, you have got your hands raised.
Yes, please, Satyabhama. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, as you were speaking to Manas Prabhu, I was just thinking that now that we have so many of these young couples, we have Bhakt Corner, we have Manas Prabhu, we have Anand Sagar, Rasa Vidasini, we have Bhagyashri Mataji, and like this, so many new devotees are joining us. I was thinking whether it is worthwhile for me to encourage them to think of farm community in Mayapur.
You have to ask them.
I'm asking your permission first, Guru Maharaj.
Well, what am I supposed to say? If they give permission, then you can do that. If you want to encourage someone in the Krishna conscious way, you can always do that.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, it is my dearmost desire that at least our young people should have a better life. Their children should have a better life. We should save them from this onslaught of what is coming. And I see this as very urgent. I don't know how else to put it except that this is very urgent. We need to do this. And I'm too old for me to go out now and run after cows and all. All I can do is offer them my home and say, please come here, stay, explore the possibilities, but they have to do the work. But at least I can be there as an encourager.
Well, they have a community where they can do that right where they're doing it. They don't have to travel all the way to Mayapur to do it.
Okay. All right. That answers my question. I'll stick to my preaching and giving class then. That's all.
Well, you showed me that farm community, right? The one in somewhere in Calcutta or something. That seems to be very, very progressive.
Yeah, that is Bhakti Charu Maharaj's disciple. She's a very wonderful lady, doctor. She's actually just 2 years younger than me. But she took her Guru Maharaj's instructions so seriously that she went out there, found land, and started doing the things.
Anyone can do it, but do it as in a group, not so much by yourself.
Right, right. She has a big group of people helping her. She's very well situated in that sense.
And the devotees you were talking about, they have a nice community there. And they have good leadership there. It's a very progressive temple. And there is a large group of devotees who are very working together. Maybe the next step they can get is a farm community and expand their community into that area.
So we are talking about Farmington.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
But they have good leadership there, so you don't have to worry.
Okay, that helps a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
But you see all of them are all smiling all the time. Amrita Sundari, Rasvilas, Radha, Pavani, and Bhageshwar, and you got where is it? Sagar, he's there somewhere, Ananda Sagar. There's 4, 5. And yeah, there's more. There's a few more who are not here today. They have a nice community. It's really progressive.
Thank you. Thanks, Devi Mataji, for your question. That's really nice, inspiring.
So you might maybe say their next step would be to, explore the idea of a farm community. But right now, what they have is quite good. Okay, so, all right. I think we are almost 2 hours today, huh? Okay, we'll have to stop here.
Yep.
Tomorrow, I will be not available for class tomorrow, nor Sunday. Saturday and Sunday I'll be off. So, can pass that on to Srimati. Is she still there?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, so tomorrow and Sunday, you'll need someone to do the class.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay, I'm giving Srimad Bhagavatam class on Bhaktivedanta Manor at 7:45 a.m. on Sunday. For people in America, that might be a little bit hard. For people in London, you can also see it through the live streaming like that.
Also in India, Guru Maharaj, we also can hear it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, India's good too. America's a little bit, unless you can't sleep that night, you can. You can just. Then if you watch my class, you'll be able to sleep really easy. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time and association.
Thank you.
Shila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj.
Jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for the class.
Krishna.